What is up, fellas? Welcome back to another episode. First of all, Quant hoodie today. I mean, come on. Look at that, guys. Quant hoodie. That's tough, right? Come on, tell me that's tough. So today, this episode, we're going to be talking about altcoins. We're going to talk about altcoin season and why I think altcoin season is a lock. So if you enjoy the video, if you've been enjoying the content, make sure to subscribe, okay? Make sure to subscribe and like. 90% of you watching are not subscribed. That is insane. That is actually insane. How is that number even possible? So subscribe. I'm telling you, I got videos coming out every week, multiple times a week. Good content, all right? Good content. Follow the road to 1 million series because we are going to have $1 million portfolio eventually, and you will be one of the early people to witness it. All right. Now, altcoins. I know everyone loves talking about altcoins. I love talking about altcoins, okay? Because if you guys don't already know, my portfolio consists of... I don't know why I'm logged out, but it consists of all altcoins. Now, there's a couple things we need to consider when we're talking about altcoin season, all right? Now, first things first, I want to point out, all right, and I want to ask you guys, you know, maybe you guys are, you know, doubting, maybe you're concerned that your alts haven't pumped yet, and you're listening to those TikTok gurus and, you know, there's people on X saying there is no altcoin season, altcoin season's canceled, alts are dead, Bitcoin is the only good coin, whatever they want to say, you know, alts are never coming back. But I want you to name a cycle in history where altcoins didn't go parabolic. Name one. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. And I was saying the same exact thing with Ethereum when Ethereum was at $1,300 back in April. Everyone was off the ETH train. Do you guys remember that? Do you guys remember what everyone was saying about ETH? Everyone was saying, this time is different. ETH is dead. No one liked ETH, right? ETH is not going to make a new all-time high this cycle. You know, whatever. ETH is a useless chain, whatever you want to say, right? And what happened? Immediately, right when people were saying that, right? That was right here. Oops. That was right here, right? That's when everyone was giving up on ETH. Immediately, it pumped to an all-time high, right? And guess what people are saying about altcoins now? The same thing they were saying about Ethereum. Altcoins are dead. Altcoins are gonna just go to zero. You know, everyone's off the altcoin train. And what's going to happen? They're going to pump to the moon. Now, there's one thing you need to keep an eye on, okay? For altcoin season. And once you understand this one metric, you unlock the keys to the crypto kingdom. All right? And that one metric is Bitcoin dominance. Okay? Bitcoin dominance is the only thing that matters when we're talking about altcoins. Now, I have been saying for the last couple weeks that in order to get an altcoin season, right, we need to get Bitcoin dominance as high as possible. Now, why is that? Everyone's like, oh, well, in order for altcoin season to happen, doesn't Bitcoin dominance need to drop? Well, yes, that is true, but think about it, okay? The higher we can get dominance, the harder it can drop, and the further it can drop, all right? Think about it. Let's say this whole cycle, Bitcoin dominance only got up to, like, 52. And then it dropped down to, what, 45? Like, this drop would not be as good as a drop from here. This is a way bigger drop in a way bigger altcoin season. So, I know everyone is hoping for Bitcoin dominance to just plummet, right? But honestly, you need to hope we can squeeze it as high as we can in the short term, get all this liquidity back into the king, and then... Oh, I don't know what happened. And then it can dump, all right? That is what we need to see play out. All right, that is what we need to see play out. There we go. That was weird. And we have just printed. Zoom in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weekly green candles in a row. 7 green candles in a row on Bitcoin dominance. So as you guys can see, the rotation into Bitcoin is happening right now, and we are squeezing as much liquidity as we can into Bitcoin. All right? We are extracting all the liquidity from the altcoin market into Bitcoin right now. And when this drops, it's going to drop hard, okay? Hard. And we all know what happens then, right? When Bitcoin dominance drops, like it did here, like it did here, that is when you see altcoin season. That is exactly when it happens, is that drop in dominance. So you need to be on the lookout for dominance to drop. Now, in the short term, you know, maybe we can get it to 61, 62, 63, 64%, maybe. You know, the higher it goes, the further it can drop. So what I'm expecting is to kind of come up and test this 50-week SMA right here. That's where I kind of expect dominance to go, right around 61%. Maybe we can wick a little bit higher before this massive drop, but that is my base case, is to test this with 50-week. You know, as you can see, we tested the 100 right here, and I think we're going to get a little bit below the 200. But yeah, I think that's where we're going to go in the short term. And yeah, Bitcoin dominance is the key to alt season. Now, why? You're probably thinking, oh, well, what if Bitcoin dominance just goes up forever, right? Fair point. Fair point. It could. Now, there's a couple charts that say otherwise. All right. Now, first of all, I'm going to talk about the total crypto market cap. All right. This is the others chart. So essentially, this is the total crypto market cap, excluding the top 10. So excluding Bitcoin, Ethereum, USDT, XRP, Tron, BNB, all the top 10 coins, right? And where are we right now? We are at a level. We're not even at 2021 highs, right? We're not even past the high. We're not even past the high. Altcoins are still in an accumulation phase. All right, we're right here, essentially, right? That's where we are. And I mean, we have so much room to run. We really, really do. It's sitting at 260 billion. I mean, I think it's going to a trillion, probably at least this 800 range, at the 1272. I think it could hit the 1618, anywhere in this range, all the way up to, you know, 2 trillion. And look at the volume. All right, I'm going to point out the volume here. Why is it that we're sitting at not even all-time highs from 2021, yet we're getting these insane volume spikes? Insane volume spike over here, right? And we're just seeing, we saw an insane volume spike over here. We're seeing more and more volume than we did last cycle, which means there's more money, more buyers, but we haven't reached price discovery yet. That means we are building up. We're building up the fire, right? We're building up the fire. And we have all these buyers in the market, and price hasn't done anything yet. Well, it's done a little bit, but it hasn't done that final leg. So we're building up the fire, okay? And if you look at the others ETH chart, it kind of tells the same story. Now, this is a really good chart because it measures altcoins performance, that same chart, that others, the top 10, excluding the top 10, against Ethereum. So how well altcoins are performing against Ethereum. So when this chart is on the rise, altcoins are going parabolic. And we're already past the Ethereum phase. You know, okay, wait. Let me show you this chart. Everyone's probably seen this chart. The path to alt season. Right? First it goes to Bitcoin, then Ethereum, then large caps, then alt season. Now, this others ETH chart is great because it's going to show you where Ethereum season is. And that was right here, and that was right here, right? Ethereum was rallying, and the altcoins weren't rallying as much, which means it went from Bitcoin to Ethereum, Bitcoin to Ethereum. And then what happens when it bottoms? Alts go parabolic, just like they will again, okay? We're seeing that same level in the MACD, that same uptrend once again. We're seeing the RSI become oversold, and we are in a bullish divergence. I mean, look, guys, it is really, really obvious. And this is what's going to happen. Ethereum is going to make a move, and once Ethereum moves a little bit, altcoins are going right back up here. They're going right back up, and they're going to shoot up. They will shoot up. All right. So yeah, that's the others ETH chart. Now, also another chart I really, really like. I've talked about this before. This is the total 3 chart. So essentially every single crypto excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum against Bitcoin. So they're essentially the altcoin market against Bitcoin. How it's performing against Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin, it has been Bitcoin season since January of 2022, right? We've seen just a downtrend. Same thing happened from bull market peak to bear market low, right? Once they bottom, like they did here, you get altcoin season. Same thing in 2017. And now we will get another altcoin season here. Okay? It's very, very obvious. Okay, altcoins are oscillators. They are oscillators. And what that means is they are range bound to Bitcoin. Bitcoin goes up for the whole cycle, and then altcoins will catch up within a 2 to 3 month period. And, you know, you can see we have the same exact setup. As you can see, bullish divergence on the RSI. Let me just draw that out here. Bullish divergence on the RSI here. Same thing here. I mean, while we're getting lower lows and lower lows, it's textbook setup. It is a textbook setup for alt season. And this is just a very, very telltale chart. And yeah, this blue line also is the Federal Reserve balance sheet. And if we get, look what happened right here. Once we get quantitative easing, I think we're in a very, very similar situation. And I think altcoins are going to explode. Now, last chart I want to just point out is the USDT dominance. I'm going to go over this quickly. Pretty much, this is the dominance of USDT stablecoin. So when this goes down, that means altcoin season. And I think, you know, we're kind of in this wedge here. And we're going to break one way or another, obviously. But I think it's going to be down. In the reasons we just talked about. You can't really see it much on this chart, but it's just a chart telling you of where the dominance is going. And we are clearly in a macro downtrend. So, you know, maybe we could just bleed lower like this. Obviously not exactly like that, but that's kind of my base case. Now, you're probably thinking, okay, so charts, cool. But what is that? Like, give me some facts. Give me some facts. So I'm going to give you some facts, okay? We're going to take a look at DeFi. All right. Now, DeFi, what is DeFi? That stands for decentralized finance. If you guys don't know what that is, pretty much every single chain out there, right, has DeFi protocols attached to it. Not every single chain. I mean, there's probably some terrible chains that don't. But every chain has some applications built on it, right? And some of them are DeFi applications where you can lend money, you borrow money, you know, yield farm, get airdrops, you know, whatever it is. And it's a very telltale sign of how well the ecosystem is growing and how much money is being locked up and actually put on chain and stored on chain. So the higher the DeFi TVL goes, the total value locked, the more confidence, the more investors, and the more money that is just being locked up in the ecosystem. Now, let's go to just the overview. I'm going to make this like this so you guys can see it, because I believe it gets cut off on the right-hand side. So my computer screen is massive. Okay, so DeFi TVL. Let's go to Total value locked. Now, what you will see is you have every chain here. Okay, we're going to start with Ethereum. And as you can see, we're pretty much at an all-time high level, which means the all-time high, we're pretty much at an all-time high in Ethereum money being locked in DeFi. Ethereum is the biggest DeFi provider, so it's definitely a good sign to see, right? When Ethereum DeFi is at a TV all-time high, so should technically the price. Now we are, right? But if you go to some of these other chains, Solana, for example, look at this. Look how much higher we are than last cycle. Last cycle we only, we topped out at 9. We're already at 11 billion. We hit 12 billion, just about 13. Solana's been cooking. Binance, let's go to Binance. This is not going to show in Binance coin. That's actually kind of irrelevant. But also on a big uptrend, let's go to something like Tron, right? Bad example. I don't know why that chart looks like that. But I mean, either way, this is the 2021 peak, and we are above that. Let's go to something like Base, right? Base just came out this year, but look at the TVL, just a steady uptrend. Same thing with something like Arbitrum, I believe. Yep, look at Arbitrum, already passes 2021 high. And as you can see here, pretty much all these protocols are past its 2021 highs, which means we have more money locked up in DeFi than ever before. But this others chart is still not at an all-time high. It's not even near an all-time high, right? It's almost 50% down from the all-time high, right? So you have more DeFi TVL than ever before, but the price still hasn't caught up, which means there will be a catch-up game very, very soon. And I think the move that is going to be made, since we've just been loading, we've been loading this coil, right? Like a spring, right? I don't even know how to draw a spring like this, right? And then boom, we send to the moon. I think that's what's going to happen. That is what I'm expecting, and I think altcoin season is a lock. I really, really do. We have the total crypto market cap here at an all-time high, but that's because Bitcoin's at an all-time high. But I think it's going to go a lot higher. I think it's going to go towards 7 trillion. I think it could even go towards 10 trillion, but that's my base case. Now, that's it, guys. That is it. Altcoin season. I think it's going to happen. I really, really do. If you guys have been buying, stay patient. I'm telling you, stay patient and keep buying. Dollar cost averaging is the best way. Of buying altcoins, okay? Something like Sui, right? If you bought all along here, and all along here, your average cost is probably where it's at now, right? So, instead of just FOMO buying in at the tops over here and here and here, dollar cost average. Buy every single day. Buy every single week. Personally, I buy every single day. I have a fixed amount that goes in the market every single day. And that is the best strategy with altcoins, especially the more volatile ones. Because essentially, like I said, altcoins are oscillators. They are oscillators. They go down for years straight, and then they have one big move where they outperform Bitcoin for about 10 to 20 weeks. But other than that, they go down against Bitcoin for 3 years. So if you're not dollar cost averaging, you're going to get wrecked. And yeah, that's it. So hope you guys liked that video. Hope you guys got something out of it. I got a video coming in a couple days, and enjoy that. That's it, guys. That's it. I will see you in the next. Peace out.